Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are moving far, far beyond the typical postcard images of the Adriatic coast.
Right.
We're looking past the crowded, marble slick streets of Dubrovnik and Diocletian's palace, and
Yeah.
we're really aiming our focus at Croatia's true, untrodden soul.
Exactly. Our source material for this deep dive paints Croatia as something much grander than just a summer destination.
Hmm.
It's a rugged mosaic of geology and human history. We're talking about a landscape that has spent, 14,000 years being carved by these powerful forces.
Venetian strongholds, things like that.
Venetian strongholds, deep karst labyrinths, and you even find echoes of the ancient Silk Road hidden in these remote olive groves. It's really deep.
So the mission then is to find the 10 most irreplaceable experiences that really define this dynamic gem, where the raw, authentic moments happen miles away from the big crowds. It's all about that collision of nature and culture.
That's the perfect framing for it. How does this country, which is, famous worldwide for its coast, still manage to deliver these deeply authentic experiences? Experiences that blend ancient geology with modern art and just intense history.
So we're seeking out those contrasts.
We are. Let's begin on the Adriatic, but maybe not with swimming. Let's start with sound.
Okay, let's unpack this idea of acoustic alchemy. Our first stop takes us to Zadar for the Sea Organ Symphony. This thing is a masterpiece of public art. Tell us about the mechanism.
It's pure genius,
Yeah.
and it really shows how deeply connected Croatian culture is to the sea. It's located right there on the Zadar waterfront. The architect, Nikola Basic, this was built in 2005.
Okay.
He embedded 35 custom-tuned pipes beneath the marble steps,
So they're invisible. You can't see them.
completely invisible to the eye.
Hmm.
But when the tide moves in, the waves push air through these pipes, and it turns the kinetic energy of the water into sound.
And the result isn't just noise, it's haunting. Our sources describe the notes as melancholy and really resonant, and they're constantly changing, right?
Yes.
Based on the swell of the tide.
Exactly. It's a completely free concert composed by the Adriatic's eternal pulse. And get this, it requires zero electricity.
Wow.
What's fascinating here is how the design encourages you to just sit and reflect. This isn't just a gimmick,
Right.
It's integrated with the Greetings to the Sun installation nearby, which is this huge circle of solar panels that absorbs energy all day and then projects a massive light show at night.
So the sound and the light are both powered by the sea and sun.
Both powered entirely by the elemental rhythm of the sea. It elevates the whole public space.
It's proof that the most profound art can be built right into a public space. No gatekeeping, no ticket lines.
Absolutely.
Okay, so if Zadar offers audible alchemy, we need to sail out to Bijevo Island near Vis for some pure visual magic. The Blue Cave.
This is one of the most stunning sensory experiences the Adriatic offers.
Mm-hmm.
It's certainly not a hidden gem anymore, but the experience itself remains profoundly moving.
And getting in is part of the adventure, isn't it?
It is. You have to board a tiny boat and literally duck your head to get through this narrow submerged tunnel.
And the moment you emerge inside the cavern, that's what it's all about. What happens with the light?
The whole room just explodes with color. Sunlight enters the cave through a second, larger underwater opening, and when it hits the white limestone floor,
It reflects upwards.
it reflects up and is scattered by the water. The result is that the entire cavern, the walls, the water, even the air, is just flooded with this intense electric turquoise light. The water looks almost bioluminescent.
Our sources were making the bold claim that this rivals any cenote you might visit. That's a pretty strong comparison.
It is.
Cenotes often have this ancient spiritual vibe. Does the Blue Cave have that same sense of quiet, isolated history?
It certainly has the quiet if you time it right. And that's the crucial detail our sources provided for you. Take a boat from Vistown right at dawn.
To beat the crowds.
That's how you minimize the boat traffic and get that truly reflective moment before the main rush begins. You're timing the sun and the crowds to experience the spectacle alone.
That isolated quality brings us perfectly to our third coastal wonder, the Kornati Islands, often called the Lunar Archipelago.
Yes, this is Croatia's deep dive into nautical isolation. We're talking about a UNESCO marine park, and it's made up of 89 barren, mostly uninhabited islets.
And the geology gives it that name, right? The lunar part.
It does. They are stark white dolomite and limestone covered in this low-lying, scrubby Mediterranean vegetation called McKee's scrub.
So it's the constant wind and the sheer barrenness that gives it that almost alien lunar feel.
Absolutely. There are no villages here, just white, wind-sculpted rock. But even in this isolation, there's human history.
Oh, really?
Yeah, these islands were bought centuries ago by powerful Venetian nobles who used them strictly for grazing livestock. You can still hike and find ancient dry stone walls and old olive presses. The feeling here is just one of raw marine wilderness.
So that harsh beauty sets the stage for our next section. We're shifting inland.
We are, moving from the horizontal sweep of the sea to the intense verticality of the Dinaric Alps. Section 2. Deep time and karst labyrinths.
Okay, we have to define our terms here because geology is really the star of inland Croatia. Let's talk about karst.
Karst is the crucial concept. For listeners who might be unfamiliar, karst refers to a landscape that's defined by soluble limestone bedrock. And this terrain creates that classic Croatian landscape. Dramatic cliffs, sheer canyons, thousands of sinkholes, and these deep, intricate cave systems.
And nothing showcases that raw power better than hiking through Peklenica Canyon's tufa towers. This is where geology meets, well, extreme sports.
This national park is absolutely wild. We are talking about 400-meter sheer karst cliffs, just straight up. And the geological wonder here is the tufa, these incredible petrified waterfalls that have formed over millennia. It's just this raw, almost intimidating fusion of landscape.
This isn't just a casual stroll either. I mean, climbers from around the globe come here specifically to tackle famous routes like Annika Cook.
They do. And you find wildlife that thrives on those vertical extremes. You have vulture aeries high up on the rock faces, wild goats.
And for those who prefer to go inward instead of upward,
You can explore the Manita Pech Cave. It's a true underground cathedral, just filled with these incredible stalactites and stalagmites. You really sense the history in the terrain.
if Peklenica is the raw, extreme side of karst, then the Barach caves near Plitvice. That's a much softer, almost lyrical side of that same geology. Our sources called it delicate karst poetry.
It's a perfect illustration of how geology can create this intricate, delicate art. The Barach Caves have 4 connected caverns that are famous for their veil draperies.
Well, draperies.
They're these translucent calcite sheets that hang like frozen waterfalls. The formations are just exquisite, almost like nature's own curtain designs.
And the experience is deeply immersive. Our sources highlight that you can take a boat across subterranean pools within these passages.
Right, which adds to that feeling of discovery. And importantly, this location is noted as being significantly less hyped than massive cave systems like Postojna.
Meaning you're more likely to get that sense of quiet, unspoiled discovery.
Exactly. Without the crush of crowds.
From delicate formations, we now jump to a monumental site that literally rewrote science, Vindija Cave near Zagreb.
This is where it gets really interesting and historically profound. Vindija Cave is internationally renowned for the discovery back in the 1970s of a 40,000-year-old Homo neanderthalensis jawbone.
Which is significant in itself, but the crucial world-changing detail
Is that subsequent analysis of this jawbone found traces of modern human DNA.
And that single piece of evidence, found right there in Croatia, fundamentally rewrote the timeline of human evolution. It proved early interbreeding between Neanderthals and modern humans.
Exactly. It challenged all the previous ideas of how and when those lineages separated. So when you visit today, you are walking through a stark karst portal to humanity's literal crossroads.
What's it like?
It's a very humble, untouristy site, but the intellectual weight is immense. You see displays of ancient bear skulls, Ice Age tools, all amid the silent karst strips. It really feels like a living paleoanthropology textbook.
It's stunning to realize that place, just a few hours' drive from the beach, holds the physical evidence of our species' most crucial evolutionary moment.
It really is.
Okay, let's pivot from deep geology to Section 3. Fortresses, flavor, and hidden history. The legacy of human ingenuity built on this intense terrain.
We begin with engineering and warfare at the Klis Fortress in Dalmatia. This is a 7th century stronghold, incredibly rugged, perched high on a ridge right above Split.
And while many might recognize it fleetingly from pop culture, I think it was used as the city of Marine.
It was, yes. But the real story is the historical engineering. This fortress survived because of its design.
Tell us about that.
It's a masterclass in medieval defense.
Yes.
It wasn't just one stone wall. It was built with 5 concentric layers. It has perfectly positioned arrow slits, deep cisterns, and walls designed to use the natural height of the mountain. It was built to withstand, well, everything from Illyrian warriors to Mongol sieges.
It gives you that unparalleled hands-on historical feel. And unlike Diocletian's palace, which is now basically part of Split, Cleese's gives you that solitude to really imagine the scale of the conflict.
Right. Now, we need to balance that rugged military history with something more romantic. Let's move to a completely different aesthetic with Croatian Castle in the Zagorje region.
This is the fairy tale castle. This Gothic Renaissance beauty built in 1334, sitting on a hill overlooking a glacial lake.
The contrast is palpable, isn't it? It has all the classic elements, turrets, a drawbridge, and these incredibly preserved frescoed interiors that show Habsburg hunts. The atmosphere here is just so much more serene.
And of course, every good European castle needs some intrigue.
And Croatian delivers. There are legends of cursed brides haunting the halls. You can explore the armory, the grounds. It's Croatia's pristine, noble retreat, far from the coastal bustle.
Now let's talk flavor. Because to truly understand Croatia's untrodden soul, you have to talk about its unique terroir, specifically the truffle magic in Motovun's Istrian hills.
It's the ultimate foodie adventure. It's not just eating the truffle, it's hunting for it. With trained dogs amid millennium-old oaks in the Mirna Valley.
What's that like?
It's an incredibly earthy, almost frantic experience when you're out there. Istria's dense forests and specific mineral composition create a terroir that is globally unmatched for both black and, crucially, the prized white truffles.
And the reward is immediate.
Oh yeah, feasting at local agriturismos on fresh pasta, slicked with what they call the diamond of cuisine.
That instant gratification is key. And if you're timing a trip, the sources suggest October is the best time.
It is. That's when the truffle festival amps up the earthy frenzy, and the white truffles are at their absolute peak.
Okay, final, we have to mention the often overlooked golden plains of Slavonia in the east. A completely different historical and culinary blend.
The Ottoman echoes in the Požega wine cellars. This is a perfect synthesis of history and flavor, blending Habsburg and Ottoman legacies in a region few tourists ever explore.
What makes the area unique?
Well, you're touring 18th century underground vaults in a region historically focused on agriculture, not just tourism. They age these fantastic Groshavina white wines here. The architecture itself tells the story. You can visit the specific rocket cellar.
The rocket cellar?
Yeah, it's reputedly Europe's longest at 110 meters. It's an almost cinematic experience walking through those massive tunnels.
And if you're exploring Slavonia, you have to pair that historic wine with the local specialty, Chubanek stew.
You absolutely do. It's a hearty, spiced meat dish that encapsulates that rich, Central European meets Balkan flavor profile. It gives Slavonia its true character.
A kind of secret, underrated Tuscany feel.
Exactly. And that completes our 10 irreplaceable experiences.
So what does this all mean for the listener who's planning their Croatian odyssey? We've covered everything from deep-sea caves to high-karst cliffs, Neanderthal history to modern acoustic art. I think the magic is absolutely in those diverse elemental contrasts.
And we can synthesize the travel logistics. This isn't a complex country to navigate. You can
Yes.
fly into Zagreb, Split, or Zadar. Rental cars and efficient ferry systems make hitting these diverse spots pretty manageable.
And the budget is certainly appealing for Europe. The sources classify it as a highly accessible, 60 to 120 euro a day paradise?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when you use those local agriturismos and less traveled routes.
But critically, timing is everything to capture that raw authenticity.
It really is. Avoid the height of summer. The shoulder seasons, May, June, or September, October, deliver that natural perfection and ensure you experience that authentic soul without fighting a sea of tourists.
So we've explored a country where 40,000-year-old Neanderthal traces, evidence of humanity's literal genetic crossroads at Vindija Caves.
Right.
And 21st century architectural masterpieces like the sea organ exist side by side.
And that juxtaposition really is the central narrative of Croatia. It raises a fascinating question about national identity, doesn't it? What does it take for society to successfully preserve its raw, ancient geological and anthropological history, like Vendija Cave, while simultaneously embracing this cutting-edge, nature-integrated art, like the ZRC organ.
That is the thought we leave you with. Which elemental contrast, whether it's the intense light in the blue cave or the sheer history of the Paklenica cliffs, stands out most to you as defining Croatia's character?
Thank you for diving deep into this.
Until next time.